My name is Wayne Bennett.
Speak a little louder.
Huh?
Speak a little louder.
And I am 75 years old. I now reside in Trinidad. And I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I came to the United States as a young man in 1973. When I went to the United States, I didn't like it. I wanted to return to Trinidad, but my family, my cousin, encouraged me to stay there, even though I had a wife and a son. Well, I remained there, and I brought my wife and my son to America, and we all resided there. I didn't like America, but I put up with it. And from time to time, we had a rough time dealing with the situations that we were facing. Of course, my wife did not remain faithful, and as a result of that, our marriage went down the tube. I had a daughter with my wife, and my daughter and I was very close. But I did everything I can or could have to keep my family in check. When I found the truth, which is Jehovah's Witness organization, which was in the Bronx, I loved it. And I loved what I was learning about God. I didn't know God, but they taught me a lot. And one of the things I learned is that we live in a world full of lies and deception. Those lies and deception helped me to realize we all need help because the world is under satanic control. Of course, Jehovah gave me that help that I needed, but a little bit at a time. As time went on, I moved from New York to Georgia with my family. My wife did not go because we had been separated at that time. In Georgia, I started a business in a town called Morrow. The name of the business was CRW Transmissions. I had two partners, one named Roger and the other one named Carl. They had no money, no kind of monies at all. So I fit the bill. I had equipment, I had lift, I had other equipment, and we started the business. And as the business proceeded, Roger started to steal from the business. And Carl got very upset and he moved away from the business. He wanted to have nothing to do with Roger because he said he's a thief. So Roger and myself decided to run the business on our own. But then one day Roger told me, he said, Wayne, the judge wants to see you because he has a complaint about something in the yard with the cars and the way we were parking. I didn't even fully understand it. So I went to see the judge. As Roger insisted, it turned out that judge was a racist. And he was a friend of Roger. And they were setting me up. I'm not going to go into all the details. The man took one look at me and charged me $500. You have to go to school. You have to do this. Blah, blah, blah. So I asked him, what is the crime? Shut up! That's the way he approached me. He said, shut up. Don't say anything. Anyhow, I paid the fines. When I went back to the business, I told Roger, I said, well, it looked like you were setting me up. He brushed it off. And a few weeks later, Roger and his friends came into the business when I'm there by myself. And it was about 10 of them. And pushed me, literally pushed me out of the business. Kept all my equipment and tell me I had to go. So I took my tools and I left. I made no fuss about it. So now Roger has the business for himself. The business is still there as far as I understand. Then I came to understand that Roger and his friends are part of the KKK movement. I did nothing about it. But about a year after that happened, one day I'm home at my house. I had bought a house, of course, and I'm having a study with my mother and my son. And there's a knock on the door. As my son answered the door, and then he said, Daddy, there's two men at the door wants to speak to you. I goes to the door. They're two detectives. So they asked me to step outside, which is what I did. And as soon as I stepped outside, they put me under arrest, put their handcuffs on me, and take me to the police station, dress me off, and lock me up in their jail and kept me there for 1 year. So I had to make different arrangements now with my family. My mother, she's in a wheelchair. She's wearing Pampers. She needs constant help. And I'm not there to take care of her. My son, I had to send him to his mother to help her. So my mother is left alone in the house for 1 year on her own while I'm locked up in their jail. They came with no warrant, no charges, no nothing. And they kept me there for 1 year. Then they took me before a certain judge. Her name was Deborah Benefiel, a young woman. And this judge looked at me and she started giving me a hard time trying to get me to plead out to a rape charge. She said, I will only give you 4 years if you plead out to a rape charge. I looked at her as I'm saying to myself, is she crazy? What is she talking about? I didn't know where that came from. Anyhow, to make a long story short, I did not plead out to this rape charge. And she kept taking me back and forth, keep coming to her court, and she stayed on my case. She said, I'll lessen the charge for you eventually one day. I'll tell you what, he said, I'll make it a bail jumping charge. But I'll give you 4 years for it. I said, bail? I didn't even know what the meaning of bail jumping. I know nothing about law. I did not know what it meant. Anyhow, they provided me with a lawyer, and this lawyer keep telling me, he said, well, plead out to the charge. And, that time will pass in no time. I said, no, I can't do that because I know nothing about your law or what you're talking about. I've never been locked up in my life. I never had any kind of problems with the law. And then he said, a bail jumping charge is just a slap on the wrist. I said, my wrist cannot take 4 years of your prison time for something I knows nothing about. Anyhow, eventually, I told him, I said, I want to get another judge, take my case before another judge because you all are making up false charges on me, which I knows nothing about. He came back to me and he said, The only way you can get another judge, you have to plead out to this charge. And when you get into the prison system, file what is called a habeas corpus. And then we'll get you another judge. He said, as soon as you get in, make sure and file that habeas corpus, which I agreed to. I said, okay, I'll do it, which I did. So they took me to the prison system, and I did exactly what they asked me to do, file a habeas corpus, which is what I did anyway. Well, nothing came out of that because I stayed in jail not jail, but in prison for all that time. And then one day they came and they took me to Louisiana, to a transmission shop that I worked there for a while. And then from there, 2 immigration officers came, 2 black immigration officers, and they took me to the plane and deported me to Trinidad. They had me a piece of paper with no signature. My name is at the top. Alien being deported or something to that effect. I have it. And no explanation, no nothing. And before I know it, I'm in Trinidad. The 2 officers or immigration officers that came and got me, they tried to have me killed. But that didn't work because Jehovah stepped in and stopped the plans that they were making. So I was safe. When I got to Trinidad, I went to the embassy and they took me around in circles for a long time. First they told me I had to wait 10 years and this and a whole bunch of stories, make me fill out all kinds of paperwork and this, and nothing came out of it. I'm still in Trinidad even now. What for? I don't know. I have no idea. But being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, we have a particular relationship with the Creator, Jehovah God. And my full confidence is in Jehovah God. I love Him because He is perfectly truthful. And after all this time, I came to find out from my son that the judge, Deborah Benefiel, is no longer with us. So what I did was, I approached Jehovah God, and Jehovah answered me, and He gave me a message to give the United States of America. This is the message which is more important than my situation. And I know Jehovah is displeased with what they did to me because I have done nothing to the U.S. government. I'm not a criminal as far as their standards is concerned. But they have done me a lot of injustice. I'm not seeking revenge because I know Jehovah will deal with that situation when the time comes, which He will. Jehovah God sent me back to the United States through this media. This is the means of me talking to them. And Jehovah is saying to the United States government that in less than 10 years, yes, in less than 10 years, he's going to destroy America. All mention of America will be no more. Even the name America will be out of existence, and the countdown has started. He says all the rulers of this nation and all the rulers of the world, Jehovah is going to bring them to ruin because they are ruining the earth. Look at the situation that is going on worldwide. There's so much. Even the rich man, Jehovah says he's going to take away all their riches and destroy all of them. Why? Because Jehovah has a kingdom in the hands of his son, Christ Jesus, that is going to take possession of this earth. And Jehovah's purpose for the earth is to be a paradise. And right now, all these rulers are doing, they are all fashioning wars. They have rumors of wars and all sorts of wicked things are going on. And he himself is going to make this earth into the paradisic condition that he promised to his righteous followers. I look forward to that condition because I do not want my children and my grandchildren who have never seen to live under the headship of these rulers who don't know their head from their elbow. They don't know what they're doing. They want to believe that they do. The sad part about all of this is that there are so many rumors, and even America itself is making threats to other countries and claiming that they can do this and they can do that, but yet they are falling apart. You're seeing the situation even in places like Minnesota, where innocent people are being murdered by these officials, claiming that they are being justified. The answer is no. Jehovah does not justify such wickedness. He loves mankind, and he wants us all to live under his rule, not the rule of human governments. Even the Bible itself says, men cannot rule men, Jeremiah 10:23. And that is official, no question about it. And Jehovah has warned the nations about his day of anger. There is so much that is going on even now. And Satan has caused so much disunity among mankind. Some people are saying that this country and that country is going to be the next ruler, and this. None but Christ is going to rule. The countdown has started. The sad part about all of this is the fact that there are so many people who have lost count as to who God really is. You have so many religions out there claiming to worship God. And the sad part about that too is that they tell so many lies. Some of them even make the statement that Jesus is God. God is not a man, never was and never will be. The world we live in cannot contain the person of God. There's so much about God that you don't know. And the witnesses who carries God's name, because he gave them his name, are doing God's will. And this is why we go from door to door to give people a hope of God's incoming kingdom. In the near future, all the rulers of the world, like I said before, are going to come to nothing. And this will take place in less than 10 years. Anytime now, from now on, anytime within the span of 10 years, the entire system is going to be destroyed. And like I said before, even the name America will be no more. It will not be allowed to come up into your heart. Joe is going to wipe all mention of it out of existence, which is said, only the righteous will be permitted into God's kingdom, and even the unrighteous, those who are learning about God, will be permitted. But the wicked, who calls themselves politicians and rulers and so on, all will be gone. Jehovah hates this wicked system, and his day of anger is almost here. We have a lot of work to do. Even I myself, my children does not even want to live in America anymore because of the nasty way. You see, America have placed foolishness in high places. He will not be bewailed or be buried. As manure on the surface of the ground, he will come to be. His carcass will be given to the animals as food. Even as I speak, he's being devoured from the inside out. The very ground he walks on will war against him. Those who follow him will become like him. America days are numbered and they don't have too much time. So I am appealing to people worldwide. Get to the kingdom halls. This means everlasting life. You taking in knowledge of the true God and acting upon it. You must take in that knowledge. Without that knowledge, there's no hope for you. There are lots of people. Look, I know for a fact that Jehovah is getting ready to open the prison system worldwide. All your prisons, the doors will be opened very soon, and the prisoners will be let go, because the prisoners in these prisons cannot be compared to the crime committed by these governments against innocent people like myself and many others. Many of the prisoners will learn the truth and turn to worshiping the true God, Jehovah. Because this is what we were created for. We were not created to worship any man or any human being. Jehovah's glory he gives to no one. Not even Christ receives Jehovah's glory. Christ himself is a subject to God. He is a perfect witness of the true God. So am I and many others. So we are pleading with people, please turn around. The U.S. government is going to have a hard time. The calamity they're seeing now is going to increase. I'm begging people to stay out of Manhattan. There are things coming for Manhattan that you have never seen before in all your life. Do you think that the World Trade Center collapsed when those planes flew into those World Trade Center buildings? It was something? You have not seen anything yet. Because what is coming, mankind is not prepared for it. And it will happen on account of these governments doing the dirty things that they are doing. They are actually Satan's agents. One of the problems we hear daily is the mark of the beast. You hear different stories about it, that it's a computer chip and it's this and it's that. The good part about Jehovah's Witnesses is we have the truth. So what is the mark of the beast? The Bible clearly identifies human governments as the beast, a beast-like organization. And it's clearly outlined in Revelation chapter 13. It also identifies a beast that looks like a lamb, two horns, and with the voice of a dragon, identifying the Anglo-American world system. But it shows that this beast-like organization gives its mark to those who adhere to it. So what is the mark? If you walk down the street and a police officer stops you, how do you know he's a police officer and he's employed by the government? How do you know? Suppose he's a criminal looking to rob you. How do you know he's not one of these crooks all over the place? He carries that mark, doesn't he? That identifies him with the government. That is the mark. All these officials who represent the governments, no matter who they are, that is their mark. That's their identity. They are under the control of governments. And governments are under the control of Satan, the devil. It's so simple. Then you have other things like the image of the beast. What is it? We talk about that another time. But the point about it is, this beast-like organization is going to get worse. As a matter of speaking, Jehovah is going to use this beast-like organization to do something to the prostitute. So who is the prostitute in the book of Revelation? You heard of the prostitute? How many righteous religious organization there is? Let me ask you another question. Jehovah's in the heavens. He's God Almighty. How many religious organization is there before him that he accepts? What about all the angels before him? The most prominent angel before the Creator is Christ. And he identifies himself as the most loyal, the most faithful. In Revelation chapter 1, verses 5 through 7, he's the most faithful witness. That's right. And he carries God's name. That's it. Is your religion shown to be in the book of Revelation or any part of the Bible to be before God as his witness? No. All these other religions in the world claim to worship God, but they're not. They're lying. You see, the only religion that was a wife to God was the nation of Israel. When that nation of Israel turned against God and his arrangement, they were rejected. Christ himself called them. He said, "Look, your house is abandoned to you, workers of lawlessness." And this is why Israel or Jerusalem was destroyed. They cannot come back to God as a nation anymore. They can return to him as an individual, yes, but they are not his people. So what Jehovah did, he turned to the nations and took out of the nations in the world a people for his name. And as Acts 15, 14 and 17 shows, a people that is called by his name. Isaiah 43, 10 and 12 says that he calls them his witnesses. He gave them an assignment, just like in Noah's days, to preach to the entire world and warn them of Jehovah's day of anger, which is almost here. It's coming. These governments are going to be destroyed. America, as great as she is, look, a nation is coming up against America in the near future. They're going to reap havoc on America. But they themselves are not going to get away. They're going to cause many to fall. A lot of innocent blood will fall. America will never stand again. It's impossible. So Jehovah is securing his people through his word. And all these groups you have in America, like the KKK, the Ku Klux, well, that's the Ku Klux Klan, of course, and all these organizations, the FBI, you name it, all of them, Jehovah is going to wipe them off the earth forever, never to see life again. Those people that was murdered in Minnesota, that man that they shot in the back 10 times, or how many times? Even the woman that was murdered in that car. Those people will be given a resurrection because they have done nothing to deserve what they got. But those men who brought about their demise will by no means escape. They would have been better off if they wasn't born. The reason that we have so much crime on the earth is not because of the criminals that you have locked up in your prison, people, guys in secret in these areas. Their crime cannot compare to what the beasts or those with the mark of the beast is doing. Satan is a criminal and disguises himself as an angel of light. You people have to wake up. If I didn't have the experience, I wouldn't know about it. I have done nothing to the U.S. government, absolutely nothing. And look at what they have done to me and my family. I do not look forward to what is going to happen because it's going to be very, very, very nasty. Jehovah is going to bring to ruin you ruiners of the earth. The earth is here forever. All these men in these armies worldwide, in all these different armies, not one of them can identify themselves with Jehovah. They don't know him. And they make all their claims and say all the things they're saying, but they don't know God. They see God as a man, which is portrayed by what? By these false religious leaders. The Bible shows clearly that Christ is the one who's going to bring peace to the earth. Christ is the one who's going to bring about God's kingdom and make the earth into a paradise. These religious leaders out here are claiming to be priests and pastors and popes and rabbis and stuff like that. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 7, verses 24 and 25 clearly shows Christ is the last high priest, and his priesthood is without successors. So all these men making these claims that they are so great and they whatever, priests and popes and whatever, are complete liars set up by Satan the devil to mislead mankind. Something is coming for them, and Jehovah is setting it in motion. When they do the dirt that they do, they think they get away. There's no getting away. Prepare yourself because the real end is coming, not according to politics and so on that they portray to you. That's not the end. The destruction of this world is going to be so complete. These governments will come together to actually fight Christ in the war known as the War of Armageddon. It is going to happen. The Bible does not lie. When it is all over, there will be so much spoil all over the earth. The righteous one will have to rebuild the earth, and the resurrection will take place. Jehovah is going to bring back a lot of dead ones in the grave. And we will have a lot of work to do on the earth. And Christ is going to oversee everything. The earth is going to become a paradise, a place you look forward to. You won't have to wake up in the morning and worry about taxes and this, and if my car breaks down, and nope, those things will be gone forever. That's foolishness. Jehovah did not create man to live like this. You are under satanic rule. We love God, those who are called by his name. The rest of mankind who refuse to worship God, they will be destroyed out of existence. We are all racist people on the face of this earth, regardless to who they are, regardless to their skin color or what they think they are, will be no more. And this is getting ready to happen. Yes, like I said, it will all take place in less than 10 years from now. So now I am urging mankind, forget the governments. Let them do what they want. How far are they going to go anyway? Get to the kingdom halls, learn the truth, and live by Jehovah's standards, and live forever. Because men cannot make this earth into a paradise. They don't have that ability. It was never given to them. I am calling on all mankind because there's enough room for everybody. The sad part is, according to God's word, only a small portion of mankind is going to follow Christ into that incoming kingdom. But we're still reaching out to as many as possible because there's more than enough space. God's glory on the earth is not going to remain here. It's going to be all over the universe. It's coming. Nobody can stop it. Do you think that your planes and your bombs and your this can stop the Creator? Look at the sun. Look how many suns are there in the sky at night. Can you maintain that? That is maintained by Jehovah God. He is the source of all his power. Can you go up against God? Can Pharaoh or any of the pharaohs you have now go up against God? You have no idea of the power of God. It is immeasurable. Jehovah is beyond words. We cannot even dream about how to measure him. But he is kind and loving. But he will not tolerate any form of wickedness from no one. Put down your swords and you beat them into plowshares. Do God's will and live forever. The turning point is right upon us. This judge, his name is Judge Robert L. Mack from Clayton County. Judge Mack, here I am Wayne Bennett. You have attacked me. You don't know me. You never heard from me. You know nothing about me. But you attacked me, haven't you? Here I am in your presence. I'm taking this case before Jehovah. Jehovah is going to make a decision. Today is the 7th of February, 2026. 7 days from now, Jehovah is going to make a decision on my case, which you judge me on. You carry on the judgment of Judge Deborah Benefiel, and all those with you. And 7 days from now, Jehovah is going to give an answer. If I am in the wrong, if I have done anything to you or any of you, I will be no more. Robert L. Mack, you the judge, the Supreme Court judge. Please, don't be in the wrong. I want you to be in the right. Because that judgment is going to affect both you and me. We've gone too far with this foolishness. It's time for it to stop. And Jehovah is going to put an end to it. Not you, Jehovah. Please, friends, I'm asking you all worldwide, get to the kingdom halls. That's your salvation. There's no other. The religions in the world are perpetuating lies. And those lies have to be removed, and they're going to be removed. But for now, make the decision and go and hear for yourselves. Don't just let your friend tell you. Go and hear for yourselves. Jehovah has sent his people out to you, and they're not lying to you. They're speaking the truth. You see what the kind of governments you have, and you see the things they're doing now, and it's going to get worse. Calamity in America is going to escalate. They can't stop it. It's going to get worse. Those touching Jehovah's people is touching his eyeball. And Jehovah does not accept that. There's no exemption from punishment. You will all be punished. There are people who are living now, millions of people who will never die. Do you know that? Yes, there are people who are living now, will live to see God's kingdom in the hands of Christ take possession of the earth and do away with all these rulers on the earth. All. If you are here on the earth, or you are one of these individuals who have the possibility of never dying, but you go out in your ignorance and your anger, take the life of a person because you're angry, you lose that opportunity. That's gone. Yes, you can be forgiven. Yes. You can be forgiven because God is a forgiving God. He loves us. But the only way you're going to enter paradise is from a resurrection. You have to die. That's the only way you're going to enter. Stay away from violence and wicked people. Do not plot against your fellow man. Jehovah is going to deal with all the wicked people of this earth. All of them. All the government officials who claim that they are so righteous, they're going to be dealt with. And who are murdering people in secret, Jehovah sees all of it. And the dirty things they're doing behind closed door, they're not getting away. So let's give Jehovah his glory and do the right thing. Because only the righteous, yes, those that are serving Jehovah and those who are learning about him, is going to make it into his kingdom. The rest he considers wicked. You wicked people who refuse to learn about Jehovah, you are actually destroying even your children. Because if you don't make it, what do you think is going to become of your kids? Of course, if the kid choose to go and learn about Jehovah on their own, they safeguard their lives. But the whole earth would be filled with the knowledge of Jehovah as the waters are covering the very sea. These are Jehovah's predictions, and they will happen. You can't stop it. I don't care what you do. America, your kingdom is almost over with. Jehovah! Jehovah! Glorify your name! That's it.